Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel. I'm a, now former Boeing 737 pilot. It still really sticks with me a little bit. And today we are gonna fly for the first time the ATR 72-600. We are going to do a little ferry flight over here, taking our beast from the delivery ramp in Toulouse, where the ATRs are built, over to Madrid, which is going to be roughly an hour and 25 flight time, so a typical length of a flight for an ATR 72. On top of that, I have literally done nothing with the plane yet except to download it and, well, configure my thrust levers. And I see a couple of you guys are discussing already about the price of the plane. Now, the standard pricing for it is $19.99 US. However, if you own the Premium Deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, it costs $12.99. So that is an incredibly cheap price for what is promised to be quite a good airplane. And I can say that much, that the developer Hans Hartmann is a long-time friend of mine. I know him since I started flight simulation quite early on. So he gave me a couple of insights while I've been downloading and installing the plane. And, well, Microsoft calls it expert-level aircraft, and indeed it is. So the system depth that we're aiming with this aircraft is above the Aerosoft CRJ and obviously below the PMDGs, but it's set to be above the Aerosoft CRJs. So that is going to be the level that we're looking for, and if that is right, then I would be absolutely happy with it. But let's head right into the airplane and see what that's gonna look like. I do have to say from the very beginning on that I have absolutely no clue how to fly an ATR. However, I did find an FCOM online in which there are normal procedures detailed, and I did get a normal checklist for the plane as well, so that should hopefully get us going on this flight. Do not expect me to be able to handle the airplane as well as I am able to handle some other aircraft, like obviously the 737 or like the Airbus. But just like one of our Polish friends is currently saying in the comments below there, it's a lot like an Airbus. And the reason for that is that ATR is using a lot of the Thales avionics softwares and avionics suites. So the avionics of the ATR are done from the same manufacturer as those of the Airbus. And for that reason, they are simply going to be quite similar. Alright though, that's going to be it with all the talking. Let's head right into the cockpit and have a look at what the cockpit looks like. So, literally, I'm just about jumping into it. I haven't really touched anything except that I changed one page on the EFB there, since I was kind of curious about some of the throttle axis setup, as I wanted to have that done earlier on. Talking about the throttle, maybe we should do that for a small second here. So this is how I've set it up. I've got my Honeycomb Bravo, for which I just about created a quick and dirty profile. And this is about the interesting thing there. In the Power Management tab, you have the... let me just about change that. So in the Power Management tab, you have a condition lever button up here. But that one in Microsoft Flight Simulator apparently does nothing. So if you want to assign your condition levers, you've actually got to use the propeller lever axis down here, like you can see I've done over here. So this is how I've assigned it in my Honeycomb. Apart from that, obviously, since in about any update they break your assistants, do head over into the assistants and set them back to your preferences. Asobo reset them all into the easy modes, so yeah, I've just about reset them, and I hope that I missed nothing prior to starting this live stream. Alright, that shall be it with the setup, so let's start exploring the cockpit. Now, we'll just about start with the overhead panels up here, and this actually looks quite familiar to any of you who has flown, well, pretty much any airliner before. So, we've got the push buttons, which include the warning labels and so on, and it's done in a nice little way over here that you can do a proper scan flow. Apart from that, we have our 5 main display units, which we are going to dive into in a few moments. We've got our autopilot control panel, which kind of reminds me of the panel that I knew in the Dash 8 Q400, but we'll get into that. There's a funny story behind that speed hold button over here, by the way, but we'll get to that during the flight. And that is pretty much our aircraft setup. So, the one thing that we will still have to set up here is the thrust levers, or the power levers. As I said, I just literally downloaded it, and I wanted to show you my very, very first impression of the plane. Something that you guys will surely also find funny is what we can find somewhere up here on the overhead. In fact, I don't even know where yet. If we go to the electrical panel, and here it is, the AC Wild electrical power. Now, I'm going to explain more about that en route, but let's just quickly say that AC Wild means that there is no set frequency. Like in the 737 or in the Airbuses, we have them at 400 Hz. In the ATR, they run at whatever speed the generator currently runs at. It's an interesting thing, so we're going to talk more about that in flight. Alright, so, as said, I've never even touched the plane before, so we are going to start things right off here. Let's quickly start by seeing what kind of options we have available in the electronic flight bag. So we have our payload page over here, where we can apparently enter a lot of that stuff. So I did plan a flight using SimBrief, so why don't we just about go ahead and have a quick look into that. So, as always, I am using Sim Toolkit Pro for my flight planning in order to view my SimBrief flight plan, and this is what we've planned. Air Nostrum 726, little reference to the ATR 72-600, from Toulouse to Madrid. So, we have a zero fuel weight of 14.5, and that basically is our aircraft empty with 10 staff from Air Nostrum on board. So zero fuel weight. Can we enter that right over here? No, we can't. Okay. Then I guess we gotta use the payload weight. No? Or the set button? No? Can we change anything over here? Can we actually change anything on that screen? No, I can click wherever I want to. Okay, so looks like I will have to use this. So we'll just about empty that up. Then pilot co-pilot will take 170 pounds. 170. Flight attendants we don't have. Then let's take a couple passengers here, maximum 12,700 pounds. That should be roughly it. Okay, and that updated in here. So that's apparently how you load the airplane. At least as far as I can see. Okay, fair enough. Then let's go ahead then. Can we set anything down there? No. Info. Okay, that's just for the speeds on the side. Which is nice. They are calculating a couple of speeds for us over there. But okay. Let's go ahead. Let's see the others. Let's see performance. Automatically calculates our takeoff speeds, it seems. Let's adjust the runway conditions. I can't do anything in here. Okay, so be it. So apparently it looks like takeoff is all automatic. Landing data seems to be directly from here. But okay, maybe that stuff is going to update once I start programming the FMC. So let's go into the important stuff here, which is the aircraft page. Well, first of all, for the panel states, we want to start in cold and dark, do we? So let's just click that. Got the wheel checks in place. Let's also get a ground power and the main door. Then maintenance page, what can we do over here? Refill the oxygen, reset brake temperatures, and refill the fire bottles. That's interesting. So there actually is a little bit of interesting stuff going on in the background there, it seems. Okay then, let's go into options, and this is probably where stuff is going to get interesting. So, HOTAS Altimeter units, okay, hectopascal is what we want, temperature in centigrade, weights in kilograms, autopilot disconnect sensitivity, we'll keep it on low so that we don't accidentally disconnect the autopilot. Avionics mode, EASA or FAA? I guess that comes down to different symbology depending on which country you're in. So for example, airport symbols are different in the FAA land than they are in EASA land, but we'll get to that. Okay, PFD throttle hint, well no, we don't want that. Autopilot disconnect when exceeding limits, yeah, let's put that on. Display click spot help, what's that? Oh, this is nice. This is nice. So, something that I've been wondering about in the ATR for quite a while is if you look at the controllers for our display units down here and up here, they are, well, this is our normal point of view for the flight, so they are not easily accessible. But you actually have hidden click spots over here, everywhere, that you can use to navigate your avionics. So that's quite cool. And that stuff is available readily in our EFB. Very well worked out, Hans. Good idea there. Okay, finally, throttle setup. That kind of reminds me a bit of the CRJ, but after all, it is the same developer there. So, yeah, let's quickly set that. We have dual axis throttles, and they do not have a reverser axis. Apart from that, I would say we just about stick with the standard values. Just moving my levers through. Like this, trying to see where every single one of those click spots is there. But I guess we'll just about use it like that and see what's gonna happen. Like this, it looks like we actually have reversers on here still. Go validate, successful, and okay. See what that's gonna look like. Okay, now we don't have reversers anymore. Okay, so that should hopefully be all the configuration we needed to do. Well, then let's go ahead and let's start flying. Something I do not see in the EFB here is any sort of a SimBrief integration. So there is nothing where I could download my, or at least show my SimBrief information. But it used to be the very same on the InnyBuild's A310 when it was released with Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I guess it's probably Microsoft who doesn't want to have anything the likes in there. But, well, we're gonna see about it. So, let's actually try and start flying this aircraft. As said, I don't have any ATR experience before, but for those of you who have joined in the meantime, I did manage to grab an actual ATR AFCOM online, and that is what I'm going to use on the basis for those procedures. I've never actually seen them in action yet. This is the very first time you see me doing this, so if things are taking a little bit longer, I'm learning it at the same moment where you are. Alright, so apparently ATR always starts from the right-hand seat for the safety inspection. So they call it preliminary cockpit preparation. So emergency equipment check in place. Well, I'm not going to bother too much with that, but we might as well take the moment to have a quick look into our plane and see what kind of equipment we have over here. Oh, that's our cargo area. Can we handle the doors somewhere from inside? No. Okay, and that is our passenger cabin. Okay, so those actually do work. Nice. Can we do anything up here? No. Okay, fair enough though. So welcome over here. But I guess we'll have another look into the cabin when it's actually a little bit brighter outside, because right now, well, it's grey and rainy. Anyway. Look at that, the door is actually twofold. Like, I can open each of those parts separately there. Nice little feature. Anything down here? Jump seat or something? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, doesn't matter though. Alright. So yeah, starting from the FO's compartment, gear pins and covers are on board. Circuit breakers, check. They're up here, they are not clickable it seems. And if we go up here, that's easiest to check, they're all in. And the circuit breakers are not clickable over here. Okay, then, power levers 1 and 2 ground idle, which is where they are. Gust lock engage. Okay, where is the gust lock? Well, not there, but... Come on, can I turn them off? Please? Why do my power levers constantly go back to feather? Hello there. Trying to put you off. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I hope we'll get that settled. My power levers are always jumping back into the feather position. Is that in combination with my power levers? No. Okay. Well, those condition levers, I hope we can deal with those later on. Okay, well, let's continue for now. So, condition levers 1 and 2, fuel shut-off. Yeah, funny. Or so I wish. Yeah, can't move those. They keep jumping back. Aaron, is it my hardware? Yeah, I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look. So, ATR, power management, propeller. This is how I assign them. So this is when they are fully back. And this is when they are fully up. Okay. So yeah, they go to both extremes. That doesn't seem to be my hardware. No. Do they have some sort of a safety mechanism built in? Anything I need to click on, maybe? Doesn't seem like it. Okay, well. You know what? Then we are just going to do things simple, because we do want to go flying after all. So, control options. And we'll just remove them all together. Oh. Interesting. Now I've removed them, but they're still... Did Microsoft mess with any of my assists once again? That there's an assist working in the background? I mean, they did just about kill all my settings with the update, so maybe that is the reason. But no, the piloting stuff is all off except the assistant checklist. Well, let's put that off as well. And apart from that, there doesn't seem to be any assist turned on. Well, apply and save, go back. Okay, well then, give me just about a second. And we'll see if we can find any sort of a solution for that. They just automatically jump back into the feather position here, it seems. Is there anything in the EFB where we can do something about that? Throttle setup. Well, it's not throttle technically, but... Oh, that seems to be about it. Yeah, now I can't move them anymore when I'm moving my Honeycomb axis, so that seems to be a bug, I would say. Well, I just about sent the developer a message, see if he's got any idea about it. Well, for now, what we are gonna do is the following. Hans Hartmann, the developer, just sent me a message that for safety reasons, the propeller axis is not bound to the fuel shutoff position. So what I'm gonna do is I will quickly reassign my propeller axis here. So give me propeller 1 axis, please. That's gonna be this one. And then give me propeller 2 axis, please, which is gonna be this one. Okay, so now as I assigned them to my Honeycomb again, and they are inverted. Interesting. But we are quickly gonna fix that. And thereafter, let's see what we can do about it. Okay. And Konali, just check your Discord. I sent you a screenshot with a solution. Well, that is much appreciated, my friend. Okay, toggle feather switch 1, toggle feather switch 2. Okay, perfect. We're gonna give that a try. So, control options. Okay, toggle feather switch 1. Let's give that a try. It's gonna be this button. Validate. And toggle feather switch 2 is gonna be this button. And validate. Okay. Let's see. Perfect! Thank you, Konali! You're the greatest, my friend! It works! Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. Okay, so that was a little bit interesting there on how to get that stuff done, but we've got it, finally. Okay, so that is perfect. Okay, cool. Then let's continue. Flap lever set, so we've got them in up. Then landing gear lever down, down. EEC button 1 and 2 depressed in. Okay, where is the EEC going to be? Right in front of us. Okay, yeah, that's out, that's in. Okay, perfect. Both wiper switches off. Where's the wiper? Is the thing anywhere? Yeah, it is similar to the others. Okay, wiper off, wiper off. Then battery switch on. Okay, so now stuff starts getting more interesting. Battery on. Then check that we do have voltage on both indicators. Okay, the voltage indicator is here. Looks like we do. Okay, MFC auto test check. So we can see the displays are testing themselves in the boot up sequence. The left FMC is coming on. We check the emergency and essential bus supply indicator shows the errors. That's those. UNDV light check extinguish. Okay, I'm not sure which light that actually is, but we'll just assume it works. Okay, check that we have integrated standby instrument, display units 2 and 4, MCDU 1 electrically supplied. And that is actually the case, okay. So it looks like the stuff is actually correctly bound on the inside logic there. Avionic initialization test is done. Okay, then we can turn on the external power unit. Here we go. External power on. The remainder of the displays is starting up. So, display brightness checked. Standby alignment looks good and checked. Alerting windows, check and clear. And overhead panel scan, any white light extinguish except probe heat and fuel pumps. Okay, that sounds like something that even I can do. Extinguish the white lights. So, fuel pumps are supposed to stay off and... Okay, so... Generators can go on. We're supposed to leave the probe heat off. Okay. So that is all the white lights off. Then annunciator light test. Is that this one? Yeah. Okay, so let's see if all the bulbs are actually working. Which they seem to be. Very good. Okay, we're gonna leave them in bright. Dome light as required. So where's the dome light? That's gotta be somewhere here. Here it is. Okay, as required, standby compass light off, storm light off. Then we can put the nav light on. Okay, emergency lights armed, no PEDs, fasten belts on. Then we can do the fuel pump test. So select the fuel pump page on the system display. Where do I find that? Kinda takes me a while to find my way around the airplane, but so my excuses for that. System, that looks about like it. Okay, that is hydraulics. System again. Engine. System again. Bleed. System again. AC power. No, sorry. Total electrical power. System again. Okay, where's fuel? Am I blind? Did I miss something? Oh, there is fuel. Okay. Yep, I did miss it. Okay, well then, select engine system display page on MFD prior to test startup. Initial setup, engine pumps 1 and 2 off. So we've got the engine pumps 1 and 2 off. Then feed low pressure light, engine 1 and 2 check illuminated. That's those up here, and they are actually illuminated. Okay, engine number 2 pump on. So run light on, feed low pressure light extinguished. Then fuel crossfeed depressed. The line goes out. The feed low pressure light on the right side goes out. And then fuel crossfeed label should be in cyan. It is down here. And then we can release the crossfeed again. Low pressure light is coming on. Then we do the other side. Works. Okay. And then we just about leave them on. Okay, sounds good. Then the door warning test. Works. Okay, spoiler light check extinguished. That's gonna be this one. Landing gear indicator check 3 greens. They are TLU auto. That's this one, and it is in auto. We can actually move this. Look at that. So it looks like there is quite a bit of system logic behind this. But it doesn't really surprise me, because the developer, Hans Hartmann, has programmed a couple ATRs before. So remember the Flight 1 ATR? That was his, actually. So that one was quite good system-wise. In other words, this one probably got something as well. So then we can go ahead here. Flight control, fault light extinguished. That's this one. Cell call, if installed. Well, we don't have cell call over here. Then engine 1 fire test, perform. Okay, that's up here. Okay, so how does this work? Engine 1 fire handle in, latched. Any lights extinguished. Depress the squib test push button. Both H and squib light illuminate. Well, that's gotta be this one here. And both squibs are illuminated. Then select test switch on fault position and check. Associated loops illuminate. Okay, that's the loops illuminated. We heard the caution, the amber lights, well, that would probably have been this one, is illuminated. And loop on the alerting window is displayed amber. Okay, we probably can't see that while we're checking all this. And if I'm zooming out this far, then I can't even read it myself, okay. And if we put it into the other direction, we get the fire warning illuminated. Okay, very nice. So that stuff works. Then we can go ahead down here. External lights set as required. So for now we'll only put the nav light on. Propeller brake as needed. And it should actually be on and locked. Okay, so we switch it on and we have the prop brake indication up here and the prop brake indication down here showing. Okay, good enough. Then engine start rotary selector is in the off start abort position. Main electrical power panel and associated system display pages check. Okay, so let's do it that way. So we've got the power panel, and this is actually basically all green. That is what we're looking for over here. And we are running on the external power. Okay, good enough. Then we can go further up on the panel up here. And we can basically check our cockpit voice recorder. Normally, after about 5 seconds holding this, we should see a needle indication. Should we? Yep, we should. And we don't. Okay. So we've actually found our first non-functioning thing there, do we? Yep, looks like it. We found our first bug! Hey! But it took a while. I have to say, it took a while. Okay, then we can continue down here. The signs are on. Then let's go to the icing panel. Basically, we want all the lights extinguished and the probe heat switches are supposed to be off. Okay, that comes with the associated indications. Fair enough. Then AC wild electrical power. Are we supposed to connect the ground power unit up here? It actually doesn't say. Well, if it doesn't say, then we'll just about turn it on, and that actually powers the hydraulic system as well. But looking into the FCOM further below, let's turn that off again, and we see the low pressure lights illuminated. That is correct then. Emergency locator transmitter is switched off. Okay. Then let's go ahead with the air conditioning panel. Lights are as required, and then we obviously get the fault lights, which is correct. We can set our temperatures somewhere in the middle, and then 78 degrees centigrade. Oh wow. Okay. I have a feeling this is either degrees Fahrenheit with an incorrect label, or we are currently cooking ourselves. Wow. That is not what I expected. Well, I sincerely hope it is only a bug and that this is actually degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that's pretty much that part then. Okay, and up here, nothing to do. Don't hit that passenger supply button, that's gonna drop the mast as far as I'm aware. Over here we perform the fire test for the other... No? Okay, that stuff is also working. Then we're supposed to continue the panel scan from down here. And we'll start with the ATPCS test, provided... Down here it is. Okay, so how does that stuff work? Turn the knob to the left to arm the position and check. Arm light illuminates. Okay, so... That's the single channel indication, but is that it already? Oh no, here's the arm light. Okay, that's what we've been looking for. Then, torque needles greater than 60. Yep, that is what we see both here and here. Okay, then turn it to the engine 1 knob and check. Now we've got the engine 1. Okay, engine 1 flame out. We get the electronic checklist associated with it. Up trim is shown and the torque is at 0. Okay. And now we do the same on the other engine. So, armed, 60, more than 60%. Okay, and set to the engine 2 position. Now it simulates the engine 2 failure. We see the auto feather, we see up trim on the left engine. Torque is at 0, we see the electronic checklist popping up. So that's basically what we've been looking for. Okay, then. Trims, well, I'm not gonna check those because I just hate resetting trims in the flight simulator. Then our power levers are set, the condition levers are cut off, and the park and brake is on. That's the lovely lever we have down here. I need some getting used to. The gust lock is in, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so with that, now comes the most interesting part of all, and that is actually checking the FMC. Prior to that, however, we quickly look over here, and there's basically nothing showing here. What do we have there? So, ice detect panel test. Works, and look at how we get the icing message over here. APM test. Oh wow, that's lots of messages. Okay, that's done. Then, stick pusher check no light, APM test performed, PCs. Propeller electronic control, if I'm not mistaken, is in. Boost button in. Power management set for takeoff. Okay, then cabin pressure panel, check that we have no lights. Check the rotary selector is facing the green mark. Okay, I guess. Don't really have a green mark here, do we? No. At least I can't see any. Okay, but everything is in. Landing gear indicator down 3 green. Any skid, we can test that. And here we go. Any skid light. That's about it. Okay, finally then we've got some electrical stuff over here. And that is gonna be it. Okay, let's do the interesting stuff. Let's do the FMS, shall we? That is what you've all been waiting for, after all. So we have no way of importing SimBrief stuff at the moment. No way to import SimBrief, as far as I am aware. We can only guess as for the reasons why that is, but anyway, they have done it that way, so I guess Microsoft just doesn't like third party, but that's just a guess. We didn't have it in the INI builds either, did we? Okay, well, so then we've got to do it that way. Using good old Sim Toolkit Pro to show our SimBrief flight plans. Okay, then, looking into the FCOM, if we can find any information. So, initial FMS preparation. After power off, check FMS state correctly by testing the following results. So we're gonna go into the FMS first of all. We've got an ATR 72 P01. We have got... no clue what that is. Okay, magnetic variation from 2015. System config from 1998. Okay, well, fair enough. So, the date is as of right now. Then, Initialization, check config data, check nav data. Where do we have the nav data in here? Over here. And we've got the Microsoft Flight Simulator database. Last mods. 2022. Lovely. So that's the IRAC that Microsoft Flight Simulator apparently has. And I thought in the changelog it said that they had... I thought in the changelog they said they have current data. Well, anyway. Okay, so, units in the FMS. We've got degrees magnetic, feet, nautical miles, date, minutes, hours, WGS 84 GPS datum, okay. Centigrade, kilograms, hectopascal, perfect. And then for weight, what do we have over here? I guess we can copy that from the... I guess we can copy that later on, but let's follow the flow from the AFCOM. So we are going to go on to press position in it, and then we are going to use the GPS position for that. Initialize, okay. And then we can return. Okay. Then we go to flight plan init, routes. Okay, so we are going to go from LFBO/Lima Echo Mike Delta. Okay, and when you click on here, this can take a while. That's something the developer told me, because the FMS has to initialize all the SIDs and stars and waypoints associated with those airports. So it can take up to 15 seconds when you click on here. That's nothing to be worried about. And for flight ID, we're the Alpha November Echo 726. And item, do we have to put anything over there? Not really. Okay, so now let's try to find our way. We'll execute that. How can we find our SIDs and stars? Okay, it's Airbus-like. So we're gonna depart runway 32 left. And we are planned via the Goda 6 departure. Goda 6 Bravo, that sounds about like it. No transition. Go back to the temporary flight plan. I'm gonna execute that for now. And that leads us towards Gouda. Then we go and fly direct to Tivoli. And Tivoli. Then, airway, Upper November 869. I just took a standard SimBrief route here. We probably couldn't fly upper airways with the ATR, but that shall be good enough for me for now. After all, we're not flying online on this, so... Okay, to Zulu Alpha Romeo, and then we have Upper Zulu 245 towards Terza. Oh, what is it doing now? It doesn't look like what I would have expected. Okay, 2 Zulu Alpha Romeo. And you know what? Let's just do it that way. Flight plan, this goes all the way to Zulu Alpha Romeo. Okay. Upper Zulu 245. Sorry guys, Boeing pilot at work here. Towards Terza. Yeah, that looks about like it. What is it doing now? I have absolutely no idea if I'm doing something incorrect or... Okay, that might be it, I hope. No, not really. Okay, so we're at Zulu Alpha Romeo right now. How can we do the next airway? Let's try that once more. So, from here I want to go onto the airway, Upper Zulu 245. As said, trying this for the first time right now. But look at that, that doesn't seem right, does it? That airway page simply doesn't look right to me. Yeah, but look at that. We've got those waypoints twice over here. Can we delete them? Okay, what if we do this? Now let's try that one more time. Okay, that looks better. That is what I wanted. And then we have the Terza 3 Zulu arrival from runway 32 left at Madrid. Okay, so Madrid, we want to do the ILS. I believe it was Whiskey, but we'll reprogram in flight if we have to. And then we'll take the Terza 3 Zulu transition. We'll leave out... Actually, no, we'll not. So let's quickly go down over here. And then we've got via Rugby. Okay. Execute. Okay, that looks good. So we've got our route in. Well, that is something to start with. By the way, lots of you guys asking right now in the... lots of guys asking in the comments if the ATR is free and what it costs. So, basically the thing costs $19.99, but if you own the Premium Deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, then it costs $12.99. So that is the price. And Green Ranger, thank you very much for the $20 donation. That is really much appreciated. Alright, so let's continue with the setup then. Next up, secondary flight plan, they say. Where can I even find that? I don't even know where to find that button. Can you maybe? No, not really. Okay, well, good enough. We don't need a secondary for now. Oh, actually to access this, press flight plan key twice. Okay, here it is. That's our secondary. So we could insert that as we want to. Either for an immediate return, diversion, or runway change. Okay, fair enough. Let's see, if we go new flight plan here, copy, execute. Then let's see our secondary, what we have. Basically, I want to program an immediate return through the secondary. Let's see if we can do that. Takes a little while when you put the destination in, as it is loading all the procedures, but here we go. Okay, then. Arrival, immediate return. We want an ILS on runway 32 left. No star. How does it look like now? Okay, from the end of the star, it goes directly to the final approach. Okay, very nice. So we've got a fully working secondary flight plan, it seems. Okay, next up, let's go to performance. We can find that over here. Start at performance initialization, and for that we can finally get rid of Sim Toolkit and simply get that from our electronic flight bag. So we've got the payload page, empty 13010. Where can we insert that kind of stuff? There we go, weight. Okay, 0 fuel weight. Why doesn't it calculate that for us? Okay, so that is something I don't quite understand yet. We've inserted the weights, but it doesn't calculate our 0 fuel weight for us. Unless it still wants us to do the fuel manually. That might be. Okay, let's see. For the fuel, well, you know what? We're just gonna load it fully. But I cannot edit any of this. So why is it doing what it's doing? That's an interesting thing there. Okay, well, we can't change any of these, so I'm pressing that set button here, but nothing happens. What is going on in the background there? I have no idea about that. But well, anyway, we can calculate the stuff ourselves. So, empty weight plus crew plus payload. Give me a calculator. That's 13,010 plus 154 plus 771. So our zero fuel weight is 13,935. Plus the fuel on board. So we should have that somewhere. Where's our fuel information? I can't find the fuel totalizer, but well, we do have the fuel display over here. So that's 2,540 per tank, makes it a total of 5,080. Not allowed. What if I take a little bit less? 5,000? Yeah, that works. Okay. Fair enough. Fuel flow, well, that's only analyzing. Okay, don't need that. Then let's go to performance once again, and now it's actually calculating all our takeoff speeds for us. Now there is a caution there in the AFCOM. There is a caution there in the AFCOM saying that those are only for a balanced field. If we are non-runway limited, well, it actually says it up here as well, then we have to use the performance calculator. But let's use that for a second anyway, because I want to see if it calculates anything different for us. But apparently it doesn't, it seems. Oh, look at that! Now it's filled its stuff out. No idea why and how, but okay. Well, that's good enough for us. We can work with that. We can definitely work with that. Transition altitude, finally, let's make that 5,000. And that's gonna be all we need. Okay, then we can go to performance init. Initialize cruising altitude. We're gonna cruise at flight level 310. Sorry, flight level 210. Not used to that. Absolutely not used to that. Then, why does it say cruise alt 400 feet up here? That doesn't seem logical to me. But there is nothing in the AFCOM telling me I should change that. Well, anyway. Probably not supposed to do this, but... Oh no, this is for the... Okay, I'm stupid. This is for the diversion. This is actually the primary. And since we didn't enter an alternate airport... Okay, makes sense now. That's on me. Can we actually still do that somewhere? Yeah, that's just going to the secondary. Well, I'm fine with it as it is right now. Okay. I'm fine with it. I don't care. Let's get flying. We can deal with that stuff in flight, can we? Oh, actually, we're supposed to enter it right here. Okay, sometimes it really helps if I would read my manuals. Okay, here we go. Now we've got the alternate entered. That was absolutely on me. Okay, then let's go ahead. And by the way, Metal Eye, thank you very much for the €249 donation. That is much appreciated. So, then we have that stuff in as well. Then takeoff page, check and set. Okay, we just about were there. That's up here. And runway length and axis are correct. We're supposed to verify that. Then press the performance key once more. Okay, that brings us to the cruise. So we're supposed to insert the cruise winds. We're gonna take those right from the flight plan. And they are at 296 at 46. Okay, that is in. And for the diversion, I don't know, so I'm just gonna tell it 0. Okay. So that stuff is also in. And with that, the initial flight management preparation is complete. Okay, very nice. So we can go ahead and do the final cockpit preparation, which is park and brake set, signs on, memo panel check. So I guess that is this one over here. Pending. We've got a couple hydraulic messages. Well, the hydraulics are shut off, so that makes sense, I guess. Fuel quantity on the fuel display up here is okay. Actually, far more than we would actually need, but I just stuffed it all up. Here it is as well, 5,000 kilograms on board. Okay, and with that, I would say we are pretty much done over here. So, altimeters. 1016 is set left, standby, and right. Then takeoff torque box checked in cyan. Yep, we've got takeoff in cyan. Reserve takeoff torque, check amber box. Okay, where can we find those? I actually don't know. RTO torque amber should be cross-checked using ATS or tower temperature with QRH ops data. Okay, well, then it would help if I actually knew where to find those things in first place, but, well. Okay, and then seatbelt harness adjusted, departure briefing performed, final cockpit preparation checklist performed. Okay, so let's find out about those. That leads me to this again, display click spot help. So let's see if we can go right into the checklist there and try to perform those checklists. So that's probably... Okay, here we can go down. Procedure completed. Okay, then, final cockpit preparation checklist. Park and brake engaged, altimeters checked and set, landing elevation checked, FMS, com and nav set, fuel quantity checked, engine fuel used, reset, memo panel checked, power management up here on takeoff, and that's the procedure complete. Okay, so we've got the hydraulic stuff pending. Well, you know what? That kind of annoys me, so I'll simply turn on the AC valve generator that's going to remove the hydraulic messages. That is probably not at all correct procedures, but I wanted to get rid of that stuff, so... So, let's go ahead then, and let's go ahead then and start with the engines. So we've got the hotel mode startup, and hotel mode, by the way, in this aircraft basically means the following. With the propeller brake engaged, the right-hand engine can basically be started without the propeller turning. So by that you have an engine that is providing power to the aircraft and basically works as an APU, but without an actual APU installed. So if that kind of makes sense to you, we start the engine, but we can stop the propeller from spinning, and therefore we get electric power and air conditioning available from the engine. So let's go ahead and do that. Step number 1, close my doors. Like that. Do I want to try GSX? No, I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling. When a new aircraft comes out and GSX is not used to that, it usually messes it up. And I do absolutely not want that to happen. Okay, so, let's see real quick. Where can I... Display click spot help, and system is the upper side up here. Do we have a door page? Okay, we don't, so we can check up here. All the doors are closed. That's good enough for us. Fuel pump on. Wing lights. Where are those? Down here. And I don't know why, but according to ATR, you switch the wing lights on when you're about to start an engine in hotel mode. And that is a sign that is agreed between the airlines and the ground workers, that when the wing lights are turned on, it serves to indicate that the engine number 2 is about to be started in the hotel mode. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So then, prop brake on and locked. So the prop brake is on and showing. And we've got it showing down there as well. Then, engine number 2, start in hotel mode. Engine and prop area, check clear. First flight of the day, we're going to use the engine starter in A and B position. And then, let's quickly read through the engine start checklist. So, when we look at how the engine panel automatically came up, and then, when passing 10% NH, which is the upper one over here, we are going to put the number 2 condition lever into feather. And we have to check ITT rising within 10 seconds. At 45%, check the start label extinguishers and start a push button light extinguishers. Okay, so that's pretty easy engine start then. Let's go ahead and do it. Number 2, start. So we've got the NH rising. 10%. Condition lever feather. Above 45%, the light is out. The propeller still stays at 0. And with that, our engine is actually started. And if we look from the outside, we can hear that the engine is running, but the propeller is still stopped, since the propeller brake is still engaged. Okay, so that's the engine started in hotel mode, and by that the engine is now basically providing us with electricity, just like an APU normally would. Okay, so from here on, the FCOM tells us if hotel mode wasn't started at this point, start it now, which we just did. Then load and trim sheet checked, takeoff weight CG and pitch trim announced, takeoff data card filled, FMS weight and speeds update. Oh, we've done those already. So everything is in. Then our speeds are in as well. Then we can set the automatic speed target over here. And that is basically this. Oh, and I forgot this earlier. Okay, so then, when everything is complete, startup clearance obtained, ground crew clearance obtained, tail prop on board, doors closed. Okay, seatbelts on, beacon on, nose wheel steering. If we're going to do a pushback, we don't. And before propeller rotation checklist perform. I believe we actually should have. Yeah, we have it here. Okay, before propeller rotation. CLDS on, FMS and takeoff data is confirmed. Trim set, tail prop on board, doors. Look at how the thing automatically brings up everything. Really nice. On, seatbelts. Up here. On, beacon, on. And before propeller rotation procedure completed. Okay, what else do we have? Engine 1 bleed fault. Okay, obviously, since engine 1 is turned off. So with that, we are all good to go, actually. Let's go ahead and just need to understand my FCOM here for a second. Because for some reason the FCOM right now jumps into the before taxi procedure. So I guess it assumes just start the remaining engine on your own. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So we've got 10% NH. Okay, the light is out. And that is a good start. So, then the sides are clear. So, propeller brake off. Propeller is unlocked. And we've got the propeller running down here. Then condition levers into auto. And the engines are running up. The only thing that worries me right now is why do we get the fault light for the generators? That's not supposed to be, is it? Well. Or do we just get this because of the external power? I'm a little bit worried about simply turning the external power off right now, because if I do that, I'm just afraid of losing my FMS programming. But I guess that's what we are supposed to do. At least I can see nothing else in the FCOM, so... yeah, you know what? Okay, that was it. Perfect. Well then, ground power removed. Okay, flaps to 15 degrees. Okay, engine 1 is started. Single channel indication is gone. We had that earlier. Low pitch indication checked. That is to indicate that the power levers are now controlling the props. Then generators checked. BTC opened. That is up here. That one. Open. Cockpit com hatch check closed. So that's the one down here. Little document door. Look at that. You can actually open that little door down there to hand documents through it, because the airplane doesn't have opening cockpit windows. Neat little thing, is it? Okay, so with that, let's go into the before taxi checklist. Flight warning system recalled, cockpit com hatch closed, condition levers 1 and 2, auto, anti-icing, not required, TRU, on and check, any skid tests. Well, I'm gonna skip over that for now. Flaps 15, nose wheel steering, that is down here, is on. Okay, before taxi, procedure complete. Very good. So with that, we are ready for taxi. Then, where's our taxi light? Here, on. And then we can go. Okay, first time moving this airplane. Let's see how that is gonna develop. And Sir Kelt Gaming, thank you very much for the 1999 donation. Emmanuel, so good to see you back in the sky. I was just watching your holding video for a refresher and saw you live. Flight School Tuition. Yeah, thank you very much, Sir Kelt Gaming. Alright, let's go. So, I have absolutely no idea what's gonna happen now. Park and brake off. Okay, the thing goes slightly forward. Well, let's add a little bit of thrust. Okay, we can see the torque slightly increasing there. Very nice turning radius, isn't it? Watch how the inner wheel is almost staying steady there. Okay, brake check. Performing very good. Nice. Clear on the right. Clear on the left. By the way, if you're wondering, ATR, the manufacturer of the aircraft, is also located at Toulouse. And we've actually parked at their real-life delivery ramp. So that is almost the same as the Airbus delivery ramp. So that's the reason why you'll see so many A350s standing over here. Feels kinda interesting in that small, tiny aircraft next to all those huge Airbuses. Very, very nice taxi behavior, by the way. I've got the thrust levers or the power levers, my apologies, in idle right now, and the airplane simply goes straight. And it maintains a very nice speed there as well. And this Sterenberg, which mod do I use for static aircraft? Actually, I don't use any. Okay, let's go out to the right. So the scenery we see in use is the flight beam Toulouse scenery, and those aircraft were included in it. Okay, so straight onto the taxiways. Okay, and here we go. So, let's see what the AFCOM's got to say there. Well, basically all the rest of it is the setup of the autopilot panel, which we can do at the holding point. And that seems to be it. Okay, so let's focus on taxiing the airplane first. By the way, we are taxiing all the way in idle at the moment. This is all in idle thrust right now. As we can see, very nice taxi behavior there. Okay, at the holding point, let's taxi all the way forward to the line. Small aircraft. Park and brake set. What I do from time to time, while I'm taxiing a new airplane for the first couple times, is that I go to the outside view every now and then, in order to check that I'm actually taxiing it on the center line. Like right now, we can see I'm a little bit to the right of the center line, so it's learning by doing, isn't it? Okay, then let's go ahead and pre-select our autopilot. We're gonna climb to 5,000 foot initially. That is quite difficult to see, by the way. It is a very, very small indication down there. But I guess that's just, well, it is what it is. Okay, then. Takeoff config check. And then we can put on nav mode, EAS mode, and heading select with nav arm, like that. Okay, so we've got heading select low, LNAV, and apparently we're not supposed to put nav mode on, so we're seeing pitch hold now. So this seems to be the correct FMA for takeoff, according to the AFCOM that I have in front of me. This seems to be the correct indication. Okay. So that's everything set. Then we can do the before takeoff checklist down here. But I have a feeling we first of all have to put the remainder of the stuff on. So let's go to the radio panel. And you can give me transponder on, yes. And we're gonna do a squawk of 2000 as we're flying IFR. The navs we'll just leave where they are. Apart from that, what do we have up here? Nav source is selected to FMS1. And we can set the right side to FMS2, I suppose. Not sure if that's correct procedure in this aircraft, but... well... Okay, so gas block release, flight controls, up, down, left, right, left, right. Oh, that is a huge movement of the paddles there. But okay, I suppose if it works, it works. Okay, and with that we seem to be mostly through the checklist, so let's put the lights on. Strobe light, landing light, and then let's do the checklist before takeoff checks. Takeoff briefing performed, gas block off, flight controls checked, transponder on, then airflow. I just love how it automatically pulls up the correct pages when you go through the checklist. So, airflow normal, where is that indication? Well, it looks everything normal, so that's probably it. And cabin crew advised, engine bleeds on, exterior lights on, lateral flight director bar. Well, that's probably gonna be on the runway only. Okay, procedure complete. Well then, how can we bring the navigation display up? Well, by pressing ND, that was too easy. Okay. Let's go ahead and line ourselves up on the runway, and then we'll just run a final check before we actually take off with this. Metal Eye, can I show the taxi map later on? Yeah, I'll look into it. And Daniel, 98 degrees centigrade in the cabin. Yeah, that surprised me a little bit as well. And a couple guys say weather radar. Okay, I'm going to check when I'm lined up on the runway. Not used to having a weather radar in the simulator, but yeah, good point. We need to check that. Who knows, maybe it has a weather radar. Okay, we're lined up, so I saw the controls down here. Let's see, if we put that on into WX, we do get some weather radar indications. Tilt, you can give me up a little bit. Okay, the test mode works of the weather radar. Well, then let's put it onto weather mode. Certainly there is some rain ahead, so we should get a weather indication if the thing worked. But I don't see any yet. Well, we'll see. Let's take it flying and see what's gonna happen. Okay, so, according to the AFCOM, for takeoff, announced takeoff, brakes released, power lever set in the notch. Okay, so which notch is it gonna be? That's gotta be the, I guess the white one? Then, we are looking for an FMA of heading select, low, LNAV armed and pitch hold. Okay, heading so low, LNAV armed, pitch hold, that is what we have. Announce ATPCS armed, engine parameters check, takeoff inhibit check, power set announce. At 70 knots we check the speed. Then we have V1, rotate, gear up with a positive rate. Then we have to manually engage the yaw damper. That is up here, okay. Then we can put the taxi light off, engage the speed mode, speed targets managed, and at the acceleration altitude. Order the climb procedure, check power levers in the notch, power management onto climb, NP check, bleeds check on. Okay, I think we can do this. This doesn't look all too complex, so let's go ahead and give this a try. So, park and brake is off. The condition levers are in auto. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen. Take off. That looks like a notch to me there. Okay, power set. 70 knots. Oh, the nose is coming up all by itself. Okay, and we're flying. Gear up. Positive rate. Yaw damper. Speed hold. Okay, we're through 400 feet. That means we can engage the autopilot. I'm just giving it a little bit of forward trim. The sound you hear in the background there is the trim sound. Okay, the autopilot doesn't want to come on. Nope, the autopilot disengaged itself automatically. Okay, then we've just about got a hand fly a little bit for now. Okay. Well, I guess once we put the power management in a climb, yeah, the speed buck increases, but the autopilot still doesn't come on. Okay. Well, then we've just got to fly the airplane first. Okay, flaps up. Let's set the target altitude a bit higher. We want to go flat level 210. Oh, and don't descend. Normally, when I'm flying a new airplane for the first time, I would always put the autopilot in pretty soon in order to have a little bit more resources. Okay, it still doesn't want to come on. I don't know why that is. Okay. So we're passing the transition altitude, set standard. And looks like it has synchronized the other side. Well, only the standby, not the other side. Okay. Okay, so you seem to be about established. Well, I didn't mean to, but I do have to say that hand flying the airplane does seem to be quite alright. So right now I'm simply letting go of the controls, I'm doing nothing, and it pitches to the left a bit. But once I am actually steering, it's very nice to steer. The flight director is quite accurate and quite easy to follow, which is something that I very much appreciate. That is not the case in a lot of Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft. So the flight director is something I do quite like over here. And look at how easy it is to actually hold an airspeed. Even though this is the very first time I fly this thing. The only thing that worries me, however, is that I can't put the autopilot on. But we will see about that. Oh, now it's on. Okay. I believe I know what happened with the autopilot. I have assigned the autopilot disconnect button on my joystick, and I might have hit that one accidentally earlier. And when that one was hit, I just needed to press it a second time. And now it's working again. So, yeah. A little bit strange, but, well, we've got it done. That's the important point. Okay then, let's go through the let's quickly go through the checklist. The flaps are retracted. Well, we have the automatic checklist here. So, landing gear up, flaps 0, power management, set to climb, engine bleeds. Should be somewhere here. Yep, they're on. Engine bleeds on, taxi and takeoff light is off. And then we have the altimeter, standard and standard. Cross-checked. After takeoff checklist complete. Okay, so that finally gives me a little bit of time to check why I'm getting that nasty transponder standby message over here. And we're passing 10,000 already. Things are going fast. Right now I am behind my airplane, that is for sure. So, transponder, you are supposed to be on. Oh yeah, up here, mode on. Okay, now we've got the transponder. Fair enough. So then, passing 100, landing lights off, seatbelts remain on for now until we're a little bit higher. Pressurization check and no device sign can go off. Okay. And for the pressurization, I'll just quickly have to find where that indication is. But let's first of all climb the cruising level. We're looking for flight level 210 today. Set. And level 210 is blue. Okay, so where can I check my pressurization? Is that anywhere obvious, like on here? No, okay. Then, what do I need? System panel, top right. Okay, pressurization, here it is. The differential is building, the cabin is climbing, cabin altitude 1900. Perfect. And then I can go back to ND. Okay, nice. Perfect. Can we change the modes here somehow? Okay. Ah, that is what I was looking for. What is that? That looks interesting. Well, no further comment. Oh, I'm overspeeding my engines. Okay, looks like that white bug up here, that is where they are supposed to be, it seems. Yeah, over here we get a nice climb power. Okay. So, we've got it into the air. We finally got it into the air. Okay, so let's try playing with it. We've got the go-to restriction here, 20,000 or above. Well, that's not going to be much a problem. How can I zoom this? Okay, range minus at the bottom. Okay, I'm still not 100% confident with how to handle those displays. My apologies for that. How did I just get it into the other... Okay, format. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, perfect. So, let's give ourselves a little direct. Let's go direct to Zulu Alpha Romeo and see how that works. Actually, let's go to Elzap, which I believe to be the border between France and Spain. So, direct to... Elzap. You can select an inbound course, an intercept distance, and an altitude constraint. Okay. Or we just want to do another direct for now. In. The plane is turning where it's supposed to turn. Nice. Okay. So that seems to be quite alright. So let's go to the part where stuff gets a little bit more interesting. I saw a lot of you guys have asked already if this plane is study level and if it's worth it or what I think about it for now. I also see a couple comments on the weather radar which I quickly want to address. So let's give it a down tilt. And we saw earlier that there was definitely some rain in those clouds. If we look from the outside, you look at how dark it is down there. There should definitely be some rain into here. I would expect some radar returns from that. But I don't see anything on the weather radar. And on the departure, I set a tilt of plus 6 degrees, which was pretty much what we would have used on our 737 as well. And there were no weather radar returns. So I guess, and note that this is only guessing, but I guess that this means the weather radar is actually not simulated in this airplane. We just don't get any returns over here. Let's see if the ground mode works. Okay, weather ground map. So like that, the weather radar would scan the antenna all the way down and create a ground clutter map. But that doesn't happen either. So I guess the weather radar is actually not simulated then. Well, that's fair enough. Okay, so weather radar does not seem to be simulated. Then, Spider, can you test synthetic vision? If you tell me how to turn it on, because I've got no idea how to do that. And NDMZ, could that plus 20,000 indication be where you get above that altitude? Well, that's a good question, honestly. I don't think so. I mean, actually, yeah, it might. Let's put that range down. Yeah, that could be the point where I get above 20,000. Even though I wonder why that is. We haven't entered that as cruising altitude, did we? Cruise... Oh yeah, cruise level 200. Okay. Well, let's change that. We're going southbound, so we want 210. And now we get nothing. Maybe it's still calculating, I could imagine. Let's see if it pops up again. It probably will at some point. Then, Unified Memory, can we get a cabin view? Yes, you can. I'm just about waiting until we reach our cruising altitude, as I want to monitor the airplane's performance, and when we're at cruise, we're going to run over to the cabin. But in the meantime, what is my first impression then? Well, when I saw the cockpit from the inside for the very first time, I was a little bit skeptical. Hey, we've got a 1 to go, and altitude is up down there. So when I saw the cockpit for the first time, I was a little bit skeptical. Especially when looking about at this, it looked a little bit cartoonish to me, if you know what I mean. Oh, look at that. So yeah, it just looked a little bit cartoonish to me at first. But now that I'm actually playing with it, that impression is reducing. So I was a bit skeptical at first, but I get to like it more and more. My first impression is that we could actually carry out the entire normal procedures, and the airplane actually did everything it was supposed to do during the pre-flight procedures. So that is always a good indication. Now, going on from there, the plane seems to do what it's supposed to do. Like, we had that autopilot problem, but I pinpoint that down to a problem on my side, so that was actually my fault. Apart from that, yeah. For now, my impression is pretty good. For the point of price, for those $20 that they asked, or for owners of the Premium Deluxe, the $12.99, the airplane is absolutely worth it. That much I can say already. We haven't reached our destination yet, we've just about commenced half a flight, but I do have to say that my first impression is that this seems to be quite a good aircraft, actually. Metal Eye, the takeoff lifting itself so much was strange. Test some trimming. Yeah, that's a good point. We're gonna do that. Then Borna. Wait, Amy, is weather radar simulated in Sim Update 13 in the PNDG 737? Not that I know of. Then Thais, how is it on the frame rates? Well, I didn't have any frame rate problems at all with it. It seemed to perform exactly as it should. So, in terms of frame rates, I didn't have any problems with it at all. But that is something that Hans has told me as well, that the frame rates of the ATR would be really good. And so far, I can only sign that. I have to say, it looks a little bit strange when I'm, especially in this view right here. You know, the cockpit looks a little bit, I don't know, especially the front up here. That looks a bit strange, doesn't it? It looks so two-dimensional, if you know what I mean. Maybe there could be a little bit of improvement in the modeling from Asobo, but I guess that's nagging on a high level. Anyway, let's go down to the systems of the airplane. So, it seems to me, and I am in absolutely no way an ATR pilot, but it seems to me that Hans has done a pretty good job on the systems. So my first impression at least is that the plane is doing exactly what it is supposed to do. And except for some very small things, like when entering our route on the airways there, where we had those problems and had to delete some stuff manually, except for that, it seems that so far the plane is doing what it is supposed to do. And who knows, maybe that input was my mistake as well. Could very well be, it was my first time programming it at all. Now, a couple of questions about the FMS in the chat there as well, so let's quickly go into that as well. Bloodwind, do the sunscreens work on the aft cockpit windows? Now that's something I tried to play with a little bit earlier, but I couldn't get them to work. So there doesn't seem to be any click spots over here. So it looks like we only got those sun shields at the front, the big ones here, but looking over here, no, I cannot click anything of this. However, let me quickly say one thing that I really want to say. This is the 4th ATR that the developer Hans Hartmann has done by now, and you can really feel how his experience with previous ATRs came into play over here. The plane really seems to fly as it should, and I'll just bluntly put it that way. For the price point of $20 or even less if you own some of the deluxe or premium deluxe packages, the price point of $20, this airplane is a steal for me. Go and get it. That's really all I can say. For the point of price at which it is offered, this is not even a question. Get it. And you don't hear me say this very often. I said it about the PMDG 737-600, but yeah. Would I call this study level? That is a good question. Now, you guys know that I'm not so happy with the term study level, but I would actually say that yes, this is study level. Let me explain why. The entire procedures we have done so far, the entire flight, everything we've done to this point has been done straight out of the original ATR FCOM. And everything worked. So yes, you can absolutely study the normal procedures of the ATR with this. I don't know about non-normal procedures yet, but I will find out for a future video, that much I can promise. But, yeah, I would absolutely call this study level from what I have seen so far. Now, obviously, I see a couple people disagreeing in the chat. Obviously, it comes down to the definition of study level. Like, you can use the FCOM to fly the airplane. So you can study the normal procedures. I haven't gone into any of the systems so far, so I can't quite comment on that yet. However, being able to fly the airplane out of the FCOM, and so far we've gotten all the responses from the systems that we've looked for, I wouldn't know why not to call this study level. Obviously, I am preparing for the Airbus A330 type rating right now, and I used the Fenix, which runs on the ProSim A320, which is actually a licensed, even though at a low level, but a licensed real-life study program. And I can tell you that thing isn't perfect either. So my definition of study level for a home simulator like Microsoft Flight Simulator might be quite a bit different from yours. But for my terms, you can use this to study the normal procedures. And for the systems, well, we'll have to go into it. We definitely have to find out why we are apparently cooking the cabin right now. So look at this. We've got 73 degrees centigrade indicated over here right now, which is definitely not as it should be. Actually, let me see if we can change that. Maybe we can. Might want to go to high flow as well. That should help cooling the plane, maybe. But yeah, my personal assumption is that this is actually indicating degrees Fahrenheit right now, and not degrees centigrade. Because in Fahrenheit, the numbers that we see roughly make sense. In Celsius, they don't. You can't heat an airplane up to these levels normally. But yeah. Also, something that is a little bit strange here. Look at how the plane is not maintaining its flight level. It's constantly in alt star rather than alt mode, and it's varying somewhere below the target altitude. No idea why that's happening, but it is. I mean, I've got an idea. Let me try that. Not really. I had the idea that there was an internal difference with the barometric pressure, but doesn't seem like it. Anyway, we'll see. We'll find out if there is something more that can be done. Also, what's strange over here, the target speed bug seems to constantly jump up and down between 170 and 240. Look at that. I guess this is happening because the plane is approaching the cruising level. Now it actually went to the alt mode, and when it was a little bit too low, it probably went back to the climb speed target. I guess that is what happened there, but I don't know if that is actually the case. Anyway, now it's captured it. It only took it a couple of minutes. Okay, so I promised you that we would have a look into the passenger cabin, so let's go ahead and do that right now. The plane seems to be stable in cruise. Let's see if we actually got a top of descent somewhere. Yes, we do. Okay, 160 miles out. That should be plenty of time to check out the cabin. Also, look at the numbers overlapping over here, just while I notice it. Okay, so, let's go ahead and check out the passenger cabin. The door split in two parts, which you can operate separately. Look at that. And this leads us into the cargo area. So the cockpit leads you into the cargo area. Where's that light coming from? Well, I guess I don't want to know. Okay, and over here's our cargo door. And then from the cargo door, we've got the passenger cabin over here. So that is how it works in the ATR. Okay, and that is what the cabin looks like. So let's just pick a random row, and we'll take a seat over there. This one looks good to me. So let's have a look around. So we've got the fasten seatbelt sign illuminated. The no PED sign is also illuminated, which we had turned off in the cockpit. So that leads me to believe that maybe this is not actually simulated. Apart from that, we cannot do anything with the passenger service unit. And yeah, the model itself is not up to the Phoenix or to the Ini builds, A310, but I would say this is still a good model for the cabin, and personally, I'm happy with it. However, it is definitely not perfect. But you guys know that I'm not too... You guys know that I am not too much a fan of those cabin models anyway, so yeah, that is what I would say about it. Let's see if we can see the wings from here. Oh yeah, we can. Oh, now comes the biggest question, however. One of my very first add-ons, when I started flight simming, used to be the Flight 1 ATR, which was also programmed by Hans Hartmann, by the same developer. And that Flight 1 ATR actually had toilets. Let's see. Nope. Nope. We can't open the toilet door. Sorry, but I have to return the airplane. It's not serviceable. It doesn't have a toilet. I have to give it back. I want my money back. Doesn't have a toilet. We can't fly with this. Something else that I do notice every now and then here is how there is some light bleeding through. Like here on the door, there is light coming from the outside where there obviously shouldn't be any. And I saw the same in the cargo area a little bit earlier as well. And very good comment down there in the chat. This is only 20 euros. Some people seem to be expecting 60 euros features of it. Now, yeah, that's definitely a valid argument. However, something that I do quickly want to mention is that even though this costs only 20 euros... By the way, what is that at the top of the door there? See that? Where's that hose coming from? Look at that, they seem to have attached part of this, whatever it is, to open with the door. Now that's definitely a bug that we've got here. But yeah, there's some light shining through over there as well. And look at the main cargo door here. There's a lot of light bleeding through, which is definitely not supposed to be there. But nonetheless, this is nagging on a high level. This is nagging on a very high level. So, yeah, on the price point of $20, I really have to say that even though this is only $20, this is far above what I would expect of a normal $20 flight sim add-on. So, for the price at which they sell it, this is an excellent value for money. This is really an excellent value for money. And I wouldn't want to, Very nice comment there, Food Test. Very nice comment. Is it better than the study level Embraer? Well, my friend, it's maintaining an altitude, it's following a route, we flew a direct. Do I need to say any more? Love it, my friend. Love it. Okay, so yeah, at the price point at which it comes, it is really, really, really good. Honestly, over the next couple of days I will go over a lot of the systems, and I will try to get a little bit more into flying the ATR. And I will try to see how well the systems actually work, and you can be sure that there will be videos coming from me on that particular topic. However, for now, my impression is that Microsoft have really gifted us a very good airplane here for the price point at which it is coming. So that's my first impression there, that it is really, really good. Now, Tango Whiskey Simulations in the chat there sounds like a must-have for that price. I do absolutely agree with you. I do absolutely agree. Lucas Andros, what is your note between 0 and 10 for this airplane? Well, that's a good question, because I don't really want to... judge it before we've completed the flight. I will give my first impression after we have landed in Madrid and taxi to the apron and shut it down. But until then, let's go ahead and keep flying. So, then, some comments there on the synthetic vision. Spider, for the synthetic vision, you have to go on the nav mode in the MFD options and then click SVS on the MFD. Okay, let's try that. We've got to go to nav mode. We should be in nav, shouldn't we? Let's see, what do we have there? This is just systems. Is that it? No, this is the airport map. But we'll have a look at that a few moments as well. But let's see if we can find the nav mode. Sorry, the synthetic vision. What do we have down here? Oh, that's the camera. Nice, but not what we've been looking for. But map, which is the airport map. Mist not available. Systems, not what we're looking for. What else do we have? That's for the procedures, not what we're looking for right now. Still trying to find my way, but Gabor, have I turned the power management knob to climb? Well, it's in cruise right now, not decline. Does it make a difference? No, doesn't seem like it. Well, I probably just don't know it. Let's put it that way around. Ah, over here. Now? Aha! Here we go. PFD, synthetic vision on. Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay. That's actually really cool. So over here is where I can do all those changes. That was actually quite good to find out. Oh, thank you very much for that, my friends. Okay, so that is how we do the synthetic vision. Okay, nice. I mean, especially at night and in low visibility, this must be quite good. Because the ATR is actually not certified for Category 3 Autoland operations. So you are limited to Category 2. Now, there is quite an interesting story that I saw on YouTube channel from an actual ATR instructor. Now, that ATR instructor told us a little story, and that is about the speed hold button that we have on the flight guidance control panel up here. And you can ask any ATR pilot you want. They will not be able to tell you why you have the speed hold button up there. And here's the reason why. When ATR has first come up with the aircraft, they could not certify it for an autoland because it didn't have an auto throttle installed. So what they did instead is they planned to add the autoland, or rather the auto throttle, as part of an autoland procedure for later. And that is the reason why they installed the speed hold button on the flight guidance control panel here. But when they later dealt with the actual certification, they came to the conclusion that, hey, it would cost us a fortune to actually make this work. So what they decided to do in the end is not to implement an auto land for an ILS Cat 3, but rather a heads-up display. And that heads-up display was implemented for the captain side only, and the first officer could get a copy of the synthetic vision that was available for the captain on his navigation display. Now, I am going to throw you guys the link to that video from that ATR instructor in here, because it is really, really recommendable to check that out. So you absolutely want to give that a go. I am going to find that link for you. And actually, if you're interested in the ATR in its entirety, then I can really recommend you the YouTube channel Fly with Magar. He is an ATR captain and instructor based in Bangkok, and he's got some really good stuff there. And you can check that out down here. I've put the link into the chat right now. Okay, so, Candle, where are you flying to and from? Well, we are flying from Toulouse, from the ATR factory, towards Madrid. Adam Whalenfeld, how is this, say, compared to the Dash 8? Well, I haven't flown the Dash 8 in MSFS. I did fly it back in the day in... P3D, where it was an awesome aircraft. Now, Tao Swiss, can you add passengers in the cabin? Well, I haven't found any way to do that yet. But let's just check it from the outside. Maybe we can see something from here, but it doesn't look like it, no. I don't know if you can, to be honest. This is the very first time that I'm actually flying this. But if we're talking about the outside model already, why don't we just about have a closer look at it as well as we're flying along? So try not to move the drone through the propeller blades here. Oh, this looks expensive. Anybody here who's an expert on the Boeing 737 MAX? This is what it looks like when MCAS is trying to send you into the ground. This is the AOA vane over here, which seems to be tilted totally against the flow direction of the wind. That is not what it's supposed to look like. Apart from that, looking at the probes, looking at the general model, it does seem quite okay, to be frank. If I'm honest with you, I'm not really blown away by the model. Even though there are some nice details here, as in the de-icing boots on the leading edge of the wing, but for some reason this model doesn't really blow me away, if you know what I mean. This looks like a standard Microsoft Flight Simulator model, which is good. I mean, looking 5 years back in flight simulation, this would have been top-notch. But as a simulation, I don't know, this just doesn't blow me away. But nonetheless, it's an ATR, and you can certainly see it as one. Couple of details here on the strobe light. Look at that tail skin. Did it just extend? Oh no, it's just moving around. Okay, anyway, we're gonna do a little bit more detailed look as we've landed at our destination. For now, let's head back into the cockpit, as we are slowly getting into the region of the top descent here, still 100 miles out. But at least I want to have a small look into our destination and what we're about to fly. Romeo Hotel Romeo is asking, it doesn't have an APU. No, it doesn't. It's got the hotel mode of the #2 engine. So, Mateos, what about the sound? YouTube misses it a little, so can you tell us what you think about it? Well, first of all, let me turn the sounds up completely. Now, the sounds will be a little bit louder for you now, which might probably make me a little bit more difficult to hear, but nonetheless, I just want you to be able to listen to those sounds, so that you can make up your own opinion. I don't quite want to comment on how good or not they are. To be totally honest, they don't really seem too impressive. You can hear it right now. Let's also hear it from the outside here. That's what they sound like. Pretty much the same from everywhere. Okay, back to the cockpit. I'm gonna turn them back down a little bit so that it's easier to understand me here. Alright, Marek, is it VATSIMable? Yes, absolutely. At least from what I've seen so far. So, by now, everything that we've experienced, I wouldn't see any reason not to fly it on VATSIM. Like, it flew the SID. Obviously, you should get yourself comfortable with how the ATR works before you start flying in a VATSIM. So, some of the system logics seem to be a little bit different there in this plane than they are on others. So, you do want to be familiar with how your aircraft work before you fly them on VATSIM. But for now, I would absolutely see no reason not to use it on the online network. Indeed, tomorrow I probably am going to fly it online. But that's for tomorrow, not for today. Okay, for today, let's turn the synthetic vision back off again. Let's go back to the standard panel over here. Something else to notice here, by the way, is the true airspeed that we're doing in the cruise. We're doing 290 knots over here, so it's obviously not as fast as other aircraft, but it is doing a fine speed there. 290 knots, 290 miles an hour, that is, nautical miles, so not the fastest, but seeing what most operators do with it, like island hopping in the Canaries and stuff like that, I could absolutely see myself doing it with this airplane. Well, probably I am. Gonna do it anyway. Apart from that, yeah, why don't we get into looking into the FMC for our arrival preparation? So, looking into the AFCOM in cruise, we've pretty much done everything we're supposed to do. Periodically, we're supposed to check the systems to make sure that everything works, which we can do right now. So, hydraulics, everything's working quite fine. On the engine page, everything is looking good as well. Now, on the engine, I'm probably going to do a separate video in which I talk a little bit more about how those turboprop engines of an ATR work. So that's too complex to cover in a live stream like this. However, what we can look into there, what I really want to show you, is the DC and AC electrical systems, because this is quite special on the ATR. In fact, the ATR is the only airplane I know that actually has a system fitted like this. So, what we can see over here is that our generators from the engines are not generating AC power like they are in the majority of normal aircraft. In this one, you have DC generators fitted to the engines. And then through an inverter, they power the AC buses. However, you have an AC system fitted to the engines as well. And that is what we can find up here, which is the AC Wild electrical power. Now, AC Wild is something quite different from what you have in normal aircraft. So, in normal aircraft, like a 737, like an A320, or pretty much any other airliner that I know of, you have a constant speed drive included in the engines, which always run the AC generators at the same frequency, which is usually 400 Hz. Now, not in the ATR. In the ATR, you have this AC Wild power, and the wild basically means that the frequency changes. And the frequency changes together with the engine speed. Now, Yes, I did learn at some point back in ATPL theory what the advantages and disadvantages of that are. No, I no longer remember because it doesn't matter for any airplane that I'm actually flying. Yes, in case I will ever start flying an airplane that has an AC wild power, I will obviously read up on it again. But for now, this is quite a special thing there on the ATR, which is totally different from the other aircraft that you might have been used to. So the electrical system runs through DC generators, which are converted into AC using inverters over here. So that's quite a difference in the systems. Okay. So that's one of those specialties there. And Chio183, welcome as a business class member. Thank you very much for joining the channel. And Eric, well, it definitely saves weight. A CSD isn't exactly lightweight. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so, then, Ollie, will I post a tutorial series on the ATR? Honestly, I do plan on doing it, but I first want to see what Microsoft themselves are going to come up with, because they do have an ATR captain doing some tutorials. According to what I know, they are probably not going to be as extensive as what I usually do, but I want to see those before I am doing my own. Then, oh Emmanuel, I see the battery switched off. Is it? No, that is on. The battery is on. I'm not gonna switch it off right now, but that thing is definitely on. Apart from that, maybe you meant on the system displays. Where's the battery down here? I can't see anything wrong. Anything obviously wrong on here. We've got the hot battery bus and the main battery at 22 volts. So, nope, I don't think the battery is switched off. At least not to my knowledge. I might obviously be mistaken. Okay, let's start the approach preparation for Madrid. And first thing we see, looking into the several different altitude restrictions we have here, the very first thing I notice is that we are going to put VNAV at quite a test over here. First thing I see, we're cruising at 210. We've got a 20,000 below restriction at Terza, and the top of descent is behind that. So that indicates the first bug to me. But let's see what we can find. Let's go to the flight plan page and try and find out. So we've got Terza below level 200, Mike Delta 540 above 150, waypoint 535, above 1300. Next, North Coast got an altitude window, and if we go onto the vertical revision page, then we can actually see it's between 14 and 10,000 at a speed constraint of 220 knots. Okay, and then we can go on over here. You may actually see that in... Does this airplane have... Oh boy, I'm hitting too many buttons here that I'm not supposed to hit. Okay. Well, back to navigation. Range back down. So, does this airplane have a plan mode? I'm pretty sure it has. Yeah, it does. Very good. Can we control this somehow? Yeah, we can. Nice. Okay. So we've got the altitude window there, and then this leads us in for runway 3 to the left. The missed approach is also there. But for some reason we cannot actually follow the missed approach on the plan mode. Okay, that's fair enough. So what does the FCOM actually tell us for the descent preparation then? Before descent. At lower altitude, weather and landing information obtained, landing data card fill, landing elevation check. Okay, well, lovely. Okay, FMS preparation. Press the flight plan key to check the route, enter the runway, star, and transition waypoints. Check and enter altitude constraints. Press temporary flight plan to check entered data before activation. And then activate. Secondary flight plan prepare. Okay, we can do that. So when we're on the flight plan, like this, we simply press flight plan again. It leads us to the secondary. Let's go new flight plan, copy, execute. And like that, we now have the secondary flight plan in here. And we can prepare that for runway 3 to left action. Sorry, 3 to right, in case we get it. Actually, we should be getting 3 to right anyway. Well, unless we want the long taxi. Now, you guys tell me, do we want the long taxi or do we want the short taxi? Normally, coming from this direction, you will get 3 to right. Well, and you know what, we might just about take it anyway. So, Islas Whiskey 3 to right. Arrival is the same that we are flying already. We're gonna go via Rugby. Okay. So that's on the secondary. Then we have the left in the active, and actually it should have been the other way around. My mistake. Okay, and people say long taxi. Well, then that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Well, in that case, we've programmed the secondary flight plan for runway 3 to right, so we might as well activate it. Okay, so let's go heading select for a moment. Heading cell. Activate secondary. Execute. And the flight plan is gone. Have I broken it? Okay, here we are. Direct to Terza, execute, and now our flight plan is back. Okay. Perfect, things work again. And back in aeronav. Okay. For a moment I was like, oh no. But this is perfectly fine. Okay, so we've got the flight plan in. The only thing that seems wrong to me is the topper descent here. So let's just make sure we actually got the correct. Yeah. Altcel, flight level 210. Target speed 240. That seems all correct. What do we have there? Temperature compensation? No. Why is the QNH in inches? That's not what we selected. That is definitely not what we selected. Well, I don't really know where to look it up, so we'll just about keep it right there, yes. What we can try, however, is see if we can actually get our destination data. So, in inches, that's 2994. It doesn't accept that. If I need to take a guess, I would say it doesn't accept it because it wants it in hectopascals and is simply labeled incorrectly. No. Okay, we can't enter that stuff. Can we put the transition altitude in? No. Okay. Well, how do we do that then? What does the FCOM say? Performance. Press the performance key to display the approach page. Here it is. Okay, transition altitude 6,000. QNH 1014. Sometimes I should just listen to the manual and not do all that stuff myself. Okay, ground wind and gust. So, on the ground in Madrid we have 310 at 12 without any gust. But why did it not take that? Maybe like this? Yeah, that's how it takes it. Okay. So that stuff is all in. And then QNH in, winds and gusts in, and that is the FMS officially completed. Then we can do the the radio management. And then let's quickly get an approach chart. So ILS Zulu 3 to right. We have an ILS frequency of 109.1. I wonder if this would actually auto-tune the frequencies. It probably would. You know what? I'm just going to insert the ILS into the standby radio. Now I want to see if it automatically tunes the frequencies. Final approach course 323, and the minimum for this one is going to be 2094. Wow, that's quite a high minimum. So we better start rotating. So MDA selected, and here we go. (2094), in other words, we're looking for 2100. Like this. Okay, 2100 is selected. We're approaching Terza. Let's descend to flight level 200 to meet that restriction. For some reason, VNAV doesn't cover it, but we want to follow it nonetheless. So, 1000 feet a minute to flight level 200. Okay, so all that's left is the courses. Let's see if our let's see what we've got here. Can we set the course somehow manually? No, I don't think we actually can. Nope. Doesn't look like it. Well, I'm gonna find out for another video, but that shall be good enough. Oops. Okay, so top of descent in 10 nautical miles. So let's try and see what's gonna happen. I'm gonna turn the altitude down. Let's say flight level 100. And now let's put VNAV on. And now we're in VNAV alt star, maintaining 200, and at the top of descent it should theoretically start the descent. Or so I hope. Okay, perfect. Do we have any checklist? Normal procedures. Descent. Okay, flight warning system check, landing elevation. Check, FMS nav performance check set, MDA check set, arrival briefing performed. Descent checklist complete. Okay, nice. So the big question is it gonna start its descent? Obviously, as soon as we leave our cruising altitudes, we will have to keep an eye on our power, as the airplane is not equipped with an auto throttle. We gotta keep that in mind. By the way, pretty nice way of changing the frequencies over here. quite nice actually. Yep. That radio is quite nice. Okay, so let's see if VNAV is going to work. We are approaching the top of descent. Okay, we are getting a VNAV profile, and it's descending. VNAV path is captured. Very nice. So let's see how well it's actually going to follow it then. Obviously we need to keep a manual eye on our speed, that we don't overspeed it, as we don't have an auto throttle. However, the lack of auto throttle is not all that much a problem in my eyes, because those propeller aircraft, they are so precise in your speed control that normally I wouldn't be worried about it at all. As you can see, I've still got my power levers at maximum. We are very slowly approaching the maximum speed target there, but now we're reaching it, so I'm reducing my power a little bit. That trend vector over here definitely seems incorrect, by the way. That seems to do anything but indicate where the airplane is actually going. But yeah, quite easy actually. What I don't understand is why my MDA and DH start flashing down here. They should only do that once I actually pass the MDA, as far as I'm aware. But I might obviously be mistaken. Okay, next speed limit down there, 220 knots. So the target buck has reduced to 220. Let's start reducing our power a little bit in order to get our speed back. I still don't quite know how the airplane is going to perform. Also watch how the target altitude has changed to the next lower level. Let's just about set it down all the way to 5,000, which is from where we're going to start the ILS. That. And flight level 50 checked. What I don't know if VNAV is actually going to build in a deceleration segment here, or if we have to take care of that on our own. I didn't read the AFCOM so far yet. But for now, it looks to me like everything is actually going the way it is supposed to go. When we're approaching the waypoint, obviously we'll have to reduce our speed. Let's get rid of the sunshade. And the same on our colleague's side as well. So keep in mind, this window over here was between 10,000 and 14,000, so I would expect that it crosses NOSCO exactly at 14,000 feet. That is my expectation. Let's see what it's actually going to do, but 3 miles to run, 1,000 to go to that point, actually looks quite good to me. What I'm not 100% sure about is why it says this magenta -1 on top of the vertical speed. That doesn't look right to me, that magenta vertical speed 100 buck there. But I'm going to ask the developer after this live stream And we'll see what he's going to say. Okay, we're approaching Moscow. We have to reduce our speed. Power into idle. Oh, look at how easily that thing is reducing its airspeed. Okay, 220 knots, there we are. I've put the power back up. Look at how easy it is to maintain that speed. What's interesting is that magenta speed bug there. That is something that I talked about with a couple of people already. And they basically all said that in the ATR that target speed system would be pretty basic. So we've passed Moscow, which had the 220 knot speed restriction, and now it went all the way back up. Now that doesn't seem right to me as a Boeing pilot, nor does it seem right to me as somebody who has flown any kind of other aircraft, but apparently it seems to be something that might be correct. Now, I still have to get confirmation from an actual ATR pilot, but strange, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put it into manual speed target now and put it manually to 220 knots since we don't want to exceed that restriction. Okay, so... By the way, I am barely touching my power levers at all there. The thing is pretty much doing what it is, the thing is pretty much holding its speed. Without almost any pilot input. Like, a couple knots deviation are no problem whatsoever. Like, if you're supposed to do 220 and you do something like 216, 215, or 225, then that's not a problem at all. That's well within the tolerances in which our 737 flies as well. For the sake of fun, let me put that up a little bit, try to fly that speed accurately. Even though these deviations are of course acceptable on line operation, it is still a good idea from time to time to try and keep the speed of the plane as accurately as possible. Something I do find a little bit weird is what you see right now is my normal point of view for flying in Flight Simulator. And I've got a 42-inch screen, so I've got a rather big screen over here. In fact, I am not even sure if on YouTube you are actually able to read all the numbers on my displays right now. Because when I'm sitting here in front of my 42-inch screen and I'm watching outside the ATR cockpit, and this is again my normal point of view for flying aircraft, then I have difficulties reading the numbers on my own screen over here. So I actually have to go to zoom level like this in order to be able to read stuff comfortably. Now, I guess that is something we cannot really blame on the developers, for the simple reason that the developers can only recreate what we have in the real ATR. And obviously the real cockpit is a lot bigger than my screen is up here. But, yeah. Okay, what is VNAV doing here? Leveling off at 100 in order to meet that restriction, okay. Next up we've got an 8,000 feet above restriction. Let's see how VNAV is going to handle this. I'll just keep VNAV engaged for now. I want to see how it is going to work. Okay, keep the speed at 220. Losing a bit of power here. To be honest, I am a little bit surprised by the profile that VNAV has taken right now. It's descended to an altitude of 10,000 feet, but the restriction at the last waypoint was 10,000 above. So, I don't know why it descended to 10,000 feet and is leveling off there right now. It doesn't make sense in my opinion. But, nonetheless, it's French, so it not everything must make sense. Maybe if I drink a couple more glasses of wine, things will start to make sense, so that might very well be. Well, I'm just sitting here and monitoring, and then we'll see what the thing is actually gonna do. Okay, passing level 100. Landing lights on. No device button on. Seatbelts on. FMA checked. Pressurization. Let's bring those systems up. Here they are. Pressurization checked. And systems checked. Okay. Back to navigation display. Enough path is still jumping a little bit up and down. But it is more or less getting us onto a profile that kinda looks reasonably. Even though this pitching up and down that happens all the time is of course a little bit, well, a little bit you name it. Okay, about to cross the transition level. Let's go to local altimeter 1014. That's interesting. I cannot set my standby altimeter. This seems to be stuck at 1013. Look at that. I'm trying to rotate this, but nothing happens. Is it maybe linked to any of the other altimeters? Look at that, the first officer's altimeter is stuck as well. From standard. The captain's is settable, however. Yeah, this works fine, look at that. I can change the captain's without any problems, and now the standby has moved as well, okay. Wait a minute. Got 1014, 1014, now the standby just changed for the captain's. On the FO side, still nothing. Okay. I don't know what it is. The FO's altimeter seems to be stuck. Let's see. Altimeter unit and synchronization. What if we turn the synchronization off? Oh, now we can set it. Oh, right. Okay, here we go. 1014 set. I guess we can display the MDA on the right side as well. Okay, perfect. That's everything set. Alright, so, with that, we can pretty much start doing the approach checklist. Not sure why it doesn't show as active procedure right now, but that might very well be me. At least according to the AFCOM, I cannot see anything that should trigger it. Well, doesn't matter. We'll just choose it that way. So, approach checklist. Seatbelts. On. Landing lights. On. Altimeters. 1014 set and checked. Cabin altitude checked. Approach checklist complete. On to go. Checked. Okay then. Let's go ahead and select VOR1. And it looks like it did not automatically switch the ILS active, so we'll do it for the plane. Why is the heading drifting off? Nope. Okay, plane, you may recapture now. Thank you very much. That was me. Sorry, I do apologize. I need to find a way to pre-select the course and route. That just caught me out a little bit here. So course 323 is now set. Let's put it over a little bit. We'll descend altitude 4,000 and then we'll recapture. That is obviously not very pretty what I'm doing right now, but well. Okay, approach armed. Let's see what we can capture. And we can descend 3,500. Now here comes one of the lovely things. Somebody asked earlier if we had the GPWS in this plane. Well, here's your answer. Here comes one of the lovely things of flying an ATR. We'll put the power levers to idle like we've done right now. The plane is capturing. And look at our speed. It's just dropping down right to the deck. We'll go back to selected automatic speed control here. 170 knots is the speed target. Look at how easily the plane decelerates, even though we are pretty close already. We're only 5.7 miles out. But the speed is coming down very nicely. We basically flew at 220 knots all the way until like 8 miles or so on the ILS. Okay, now let's get some flaps out. Flap 15.
Terrain ahead.
Terrain ahead, okay. Yeah, well, that does seem to be exactly what we want, though. Gear down. Set the missed approach altitude, please. 5,000 feet set. Okay, we're in VMC, so our stable gate is going to be 500 feet. Oh, power management set for takeoff. Landing flaps. And then we can do the landing checklist. Oh, cabin crew advised, landing gear down 3 green. Flaps 30, power management takeoff. KU low speed check, icing area light off. External lights on, complete. Okay, here we are. Pretty much all set up. Autopilot off. Let's see how the ATR is going to land. First impression here. Maintaining the glide slope is quite easy, but the flight director guidance seems to be a little bit off for the localizer.
Approaching minimum.
Correct.
Minimum.
Continue.
Minimum.
I find it a little bit hard to see the cyan glide slope diamond on the black scale, to be honest. I find that quite difficult actually to see.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Oh, flat a little bit high there. Let's get it in,
10.
Nice and smooth. And we are down. At the end of the touchdown zone, but within the touchdown zone. Okay, from here on we can let it roll. It's going to be a rather long roll. And we have 70 knots. And we don't want to take the first exit, but the second. Well, in the 737 this kind of works a little bit nicer, to be honest. In the 737 you can easily let it roll to the second exit. In here, well, we are getting a little bit slow right now. In real life I would have taken the first exit, seeing how slow we were already. But nonetheless, we made it to smooth landing, so that was quite a ride. Now we're going to vacate the runway, we'll stop the aircraft there real quick in order to run the after landing items, because I don't want to do them while taxiing the airplane. And thereafter, we'll taxi the plane to the parking, and then I'm going to give you some feedback on my first impression on flying the ATR. So do stay tuned for that. Then, DC MCF, does the plane have reversers? Yes it does, but we didn't use them. Because we simply didn't need them. We had a 4,000 meter runway. You could put the plane down on a 1,000 meter runway. So, for that reason we didn't need any reversers. Okay, welcome to Madrid. We're gonna stop here real quick in order to run the after landing items. We should be well clear of the runway. Yes, we are. Okay then, after landing. Trims reset. Can we actually see them? Yeah, here they are. Let's just put them somewhere about in the middle. Yep, that does seem about right to me. So, flap 0, gust lock, engaged, flight controls, checked, locked. Okay, and indeed I'm moving my yoke right now, but they are not moving anymore. Then transponder standby. Radar standby. Landing and strobe lights. Off. And probe heating and de-icing off. Okay. That's the after landing procedure complete. Okay, you guys asked for the long taxi, you guys are gonna get the long taxi. Welcome to Madrid, this can only be a matter of hours now. Candle 2000, what's your opinion on frame rate? I've noticed a slight dip upon the approach. Yeah, that's right, I noticed the same. Basically, from the moment the airport came into view, my frame rates really went southbound. Now, we are using the Latin VFR Madrid scenery over here, and it has really been a while since I've flown here. That's the reason why I didn't comment on the frame rates. But you're right, at the moment they are not very good. However, in Toulouse, when we departed, I had very good frame rates. So for that reason, I am kinda inclined to blame the bad frame rate that we currently have onto the scenery and not onto the airplane, because we did have really good frame rates on our departure and route. So yeah, that is kind of the situation. Once again, the taxi feels really nice in the plane. It taxis in idle. Basically what we're doing right now is idle thrust. Now I'm braking it down a little bit in order to catch the turn, and thereafter we'll use a little bit of power to accelerate, and once we're done with that, the plane is going to hold its speed nicely when we're back in idle. So let's align it with the straight taxiway, like this. Now I'm going to add a little bit of power. Watch this. And we're going to use that in order to accelerate. Now we let the plane accelerate. And I have an eye on my ground speed gauge up here, 20 right now. I'm looking for 30 knots. 25. 30, here we are. Okay, power levers back to idle. And as you can see, it tries to stabilize somewhere around 20 knots, it seems. Right now it's losing a little bit of speed. It used to hold it better. Now I've added a little bit of power again. 30 knots. Pull it back off. And like this, we'll let it roll. Okay, so we're approaching the parallel runway over here. 3-2 left, which we are going to taxi behind. But yeah, I have a feeling it's the scenery that has reduced my frame rate here. It doesn't seem to be the aircraft. And Lawrence says it's the terrain. Okay, well, we can certainly switch that off. At least I think we can. Oh! You are right! I switched the terrain display off and look at that! Perfect frame rate! Look at me as I'm driving a couple turns. It's the terrain display indeed! Let's switch that back on. I want to see that in action again. Yeah. As soon as this thing has turned red, the frame rate is reducing significantly. Turn it off, the frame rate is perfect again. It is indeed the terrain display that's causing this. Wow, I did not expect that. Okay, well, that is interesting. At least we know how to get around it now. Okay, so I don't really know which gate we should be parking at, but I believe there are a couple of non-jetway positions at the northernmost point here. Let's turn on Delta 3. And those all have jetways, we don't want to go there, but at the northern end of the terminal, we'll be able to find something. I may be going a little bit fast right now. Okay, so there comes the terminal that I'm looking for. Madrid simply is a big airport. Now imagine if you had a tight slot and you needed to taxi in and out of here. That would certainly be interesting if you were under time pressure. Okay, so next to the left. And this is where we want to park. Over there seems to be a ground crew, so let's go there, and we're gonna park there. And then we'll shut the airplane down, and I will give my feedback from my very first flight. Okay, and here we go. A little bit fast here, come on, start slowing. Well, that was a little bit fast for the parking, but we've made it. Okay, so. And then, parking. Hydraulic system pressure is checked, taxi and takeoff light is off. Parking brake on. Condition lever number 2, feathered. So number 2 is feathered. Okay, ready light check illuminate. And it is illuminated. Propeller brake engage. Oops, can't reach it. Come on. There we go. Propeller brake is on. And propeller brake shows blue. The propeller is shutting down right now. As you can see, the propeller is stopped, but the engine is still running. So the engine number 2 is running in hotel mode right now. Then propeller is stopped, then we can shut down engine number 1. Okay, number 1 cut off, number 2 is in hotel mode. And with that we can put the beacon off. Okay, please get me an external power. Box in, ground power connected. And ground power on. Okay, and with ground power on, we can shut down engine number 2 as well. Oh, thank you. I didn't want to see that. Okay, so, seatbelt switch off. Transponder standby, I believe it should be already. Yep, it is. And parking checklist perform. Oh, parking checklist. Parking brake set, taxi takeoff light off, number 2 feathered, beacon off, transponder off, tail prop on, seatbelts off. Okay, and we will be leaving the aircraft, so we'll keep it at this. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. So, well, first things first, we will, of course, have to have a look at my landing and see how the landing worked. So let's have another look at Sim Toolkit Pro. Okay, so give me the full landing report, please. And here we go. So, runway 3 to right, we landed obviously quite a bit long, but we knew that already. However, we were slightly left of the center line there and just about on the second to last marker. Well, touchdown speed 4 feet per minute. I'm not gonna comment on that. That's a smooth touchdown, not what you're supposed to do. But most certainly the passengers would be very, very happy with it. Alright, so that's the first flight. So let's answer the questions now. Guys, if you have any questions about this airplane, please put them in the comments now, and I will see how much I can, answer off that. Obviously, I've just done a single flight on this airplane, so I can't quite answer everything yet, but hey, let me try to give my first feedback. So, ATR 72, an airplane which I knew existed, but that was about it. I knew it existed, and I knew it kind of competes with the Dash 8 Q400, but that's about it. That's all I know about this plane. So, what's my first impression then? Well, my first impression is that you can really see that the developer, Hans Hartmann, had previous ATR experience. So this is the 4th ATR that this guy has been doing, and you can really feel it. In the systems, most stuff definitely seems to be simulated. The avionics, well, we encountered a couple issues, but they were pretty minor, if we are honest. So, the issues that we encountered were within the same scope of what we had on the first releases of the PMDG, of the Phoenix, and of the A310. So, with that, I would say the systems, so far, on the first impression, seem to be quite good. The airplane's capable of doing what it's supposed to do. We had the issue engaging the autopilot at first, but I do believe that came down to an error I did on my side and not to the aircraft, but I'm going to test it on further subsequent sectors. Apart from that, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It flies fun, And as long as you don't have the terrain display enabled, the frame rate is actually really, really good as well. So, with that said, would I recommend getting the new Microsoft ATR 72600 and 42600? Well, the answer to that is quite easy. Absolutely. At the price point at which it comes, which is $19.99 and $12.99 if you have the standard. If you have the deluxe and premium deluxe version. The aircraft is an absolute steal, so I can absolutely recommend you to get it. The plane really does perform. It is a huge fun to fly, and I wouldn't see any reason why not to get this. Really, I would see absolutely no reason not to get this. For the price at which it comes, it is very, very, very good. Is it study level? Well, that's the big question. And in my opinion, yes it is. Now, what is that opinion based on? It is based on the fact that I took an original ATR FCOM Flight Crew Operations Manual, and the entire flight we have just done was based completely off this FCOM. So we could fly the plane by the book. And that means we can use this simulation in order to learn the normal operating procedures of the ATR. Now, I didn't go into any non-normals yet. I still have to do that, and I probably will. But seeing that we are able to fly it by the book and we get the responses of the plane that we would be expecting, I would call this a study level simulation. Now, I am aware of the debate that went on in the chat while I made a comment in this direction en route. Now, we still have to check the systems, we still have to see how they are going to perform. In my opinion, my first opinion is that yes, this is definitely a study level aircraft. However, as said, there is no official definition of a study level aircraft, so I cannot really make this a definite statement. It is my opinion, others will have different opinions, but in my opinion, you could fly it by the FCOM, it did what it was supposed to do. It did have a couple bugs, but which aircraft didn't, so absolutely. In terms of value for money, I would say if you have the premium deluxe version, this is the best value for money aircraft that you can get. If you have the standard Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm not 100% sure which I would judge better value for money, the PMDG 737-600 or this. But even in that case, this is either the best or the second best value for money that you can get in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That is something that I can say for sure. That is something that I can really say for sure. And I believe this is a very good end for this live stream as well. So, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Over the next couple of days, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the ATR and its normal operations and its systems. And there is a chance that I might also do a full tutorial series on this, depending on how the tutorials that Microsoft is currently working on are going to turn out. But for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. And if you enjoyed this, then do let me know in the comments below. Now, I'm going to go over a couple of those comments that you guys have just put up. So, David, could you share the FCOM? Well, unfortunately, due to copyright, I cannot, but if you Google for ATR 72 FCOM, you are quickly going to find it yourself. Andrew, is it as difficult to set up, fly and land as the PMDG 737-600 or just flight BAE 146? Well, to be honest, I found it a little bit easier to set up than the 737, in that you simply need to extinguish the white lights. Welcome to Airbus logic. And, about the landings, well, honestly, it felt quite easy to land. Not sure if that's a bug or a feature, of course, but yeah. Then, JIP58, does it have SimBrief integration? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately, really not. However, that SimRiff integration actually is a point where we might just about talk about, because the ini-build A310 didn't have it either. So what do I think about it? Well, I guess, seeing that neither the ini-builds nor the ATR had Navigraph integration or SimRiff integration, I guess it's probably Microsoft that doesn't allow for those. Ben, Forever Topman, where did you bind the condition lever cutoff to? We went over that at the beginning of the stream in detail, but let's quickly look into that. So, it's in the control options, and then we have under power management and propeller, we have the toggle feather switch 2 and toggle feather switch 1. That is the cutoff position of the condition levers. And in the meantime, I got a message from the developer of the ATR, from Hans Hartmann, who told me that he simulated the condition levers that way so that you cannot accidentally turn them off in flight. So for that reason you have that additional binding. Would be nice if that was a little bit more obvious, but then again, you know, that possibly comes down to myself. Alright then. So, guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Do let me know if you liked it in the video description below, and I'm very much looking forward to see you all again on the next videos. Thank you for watching, and I see you around very soon, hopefully flying this lovely little ATR. Once again, somebody asked me earlier in the live stream, out of 1 to 10, how much would I recommend to buy it? An absolute 10.